Hey, what is chambers of my heart? What is that?
Hey guys, it's your humble host, or Kill if you prefer, so I'm back with the end of the year video. I know it's been a while since I've made one, but just got frustrated every time I went to go make one. Either it's a video response to something, or it's covered in an article, and I just got fed up with it, and I just, probably didn't need to say anything. And it seems like the past few months I've just kept more and more to myself, not because of anything that's happened online or nothing like that, just kind of felt the need to be quiet and not really go out of my way to get involved in anything. There's been stuff I've been wanting to cover or keep track of or respond to or just kind of knock out, but it hasn't worked out that way as I've been busy with life. One of the things, and this is actually one of my Christmas presents, I feel very expensive, mind you. I almost had to scrap my car this year, and that's dealing with car maintenance issues can range from minor to a huge deal to where it's like, can we save this car? Is it worth saving the car? Do we have to possibly get a new one? And then there's a whole other ball of wax that you have to deal with, credit check. If it's a used one, you have to get that one inspected, make sure that you're not buying a piece of crap. So that the car thing has been a month ordeal, which thankfully I was, by the grace of God, I was able to get it fixed. Granted, it was a longer process than normal because I had to look for replacement parts in unusual areas because my car shop couldn't find these pieces through their normal verified channels. So, and my car shop was actually really cool. Not only did I get way undercharged, I got a discount because of a rather huge fuck up that they did with my other vehicle, but it could have ended very badly. Long story short, my second vehicle, the alternator died. And when we went to go take this car in the first time, they kind of bypassed the alternator because they first looked at the battery and it's like, okay, this is a bad battery. They replaced it. And with an alternator, that's what keeps your car charged, helps ignite the engine, that sort of thing. What had happened was when the alternator got turned on, it was giving its proper voltage, but as the car ran, the voltage went down. This wasn't caught the first time because this was a brand new car battery that got put in the first time, and that thing can last for like anywhere from 3 days to a week. And the very next weekend, the car died again. Also, something that I learned is when it comes to jump starting a car, some vehicles do not have juice to jumpstart other vehicles, and it's freaking wild. We actually found that out that my first car does not have enough juice or power to jumpstart this one, and part of it, a big part of it, was the alternator completely just crapping out. And because that situation, had the car died in traffic and not where it did the second time, things could have gotten very bad. So we were very nice with our car shop. We like our car shop. They gave us a rather huge discount and even more so than what was advertised. So it worked out. It was a process. It was very much a lesson in patience because I had to get two pieces separately. And the first piece did come with the second piece I was looking for, but when I sent these pictures to my car shop goes, "This second piece will buy you some time. These are not ideal. This is not what we particularly want to put in your vehicle because of the condition of the second piece." So I thankfully was able to find the second piece brand new. And just to kind of I want to also put a word of caution here. If you cannot find a car part through the normal channels, like there's car pieces online, verified ones, try eBay. I'm not kidding. There's a lot of piecemeal shops that are starting to pop up. And this is what saved my car. So I was very happy that I didn't have to scrap my good vehicle because of pieces that, had I not found, I would have had to scrap a very, very good vehicle. And that's the thing when it comes to fixing a car, is it worth fixing? Frame, how's the condition of the engine, other parts. My very first car that my husband and I had, unfortunately, was not worth saving, and it actually kind of died on us. We had a car shop literally tell us, hey, put no more work into this, just run it till it dies, because it had a weird electrical issue. The frame was rusted to all hell. There was a chip in the block engine, so yeah, that is a determination which requires discernment and a little bit of car knowledge, which you do hopefully the more you take your shop into its mechanic. It's best to talk with the shop owner about the problems that you are going to have repaired and fixed and get some understanding, because that'll help you along the road. So I have a little bit of car knowledge just because the amount of car problems and some of the pieces I had to go help my car shop look for. Word of advice: be nice to your car shop. They're human. And I really, really love mine. So dealt with that, even had to pull like a line of credit, and that to me is a very huge Christmas present, just not having to scrap my first vehicle, getting that fixed where these were integral pieces, and then my second car, getting that fixed. Now, there's still some stuff that we're keeping an eye on with the first vehicle that are considered level ones. Same thing with the second vehicle. But again, it's been a process of patience. We've been provided for by the grace of God. So, and I can't emphasize that enough, because I hate car problems, because with us, they get expensive, but we still have vehicles that can very much be repaired, are worth repairing, and once this issue is repaired, it stays fixed. And there's like issues that come up once a year, like tires, brake pads, getting your brake fluid flushed, or your transmission fluid flushed, your coolant, which you do want to make sure it's done properly, because yeah, I've had antifreeze or coolant system flush, because it wasn't done properly. It caused some issues. It caused my AC to blow out ice cold air when it was on the heater setting. So anyway, I am very grateful, because this has been an ordeal, and it's actually taught me some other stuff too that people, I think, just don't know enough about, or just don't know how. I want to use the term discernment. It's more of like a Christian term. You have other faiths or other philosophies use intuition, gut feeling, that sort of thing. So something that I have been learning for this past few months is, I do believe that my discernment has been sharpened just a little bit, starting with the stuff with the car. When we were getting the second vehicle dealt with, the alternator and the battery, one of the things that my car shop guy, one of the workers in there, says, like, hey, we haven't seen your first vehicle for a year and a half. I cannot tell you the wave and anxiety and just the feeling of dread I had in my stomach the entire time. It was also then that I picked up a new car noise, and it was a bad wheel bearing, and I know what I was hearing, and I went and verified the noise. And so yeah, that was like, hey, you need to have your car taken in before something bad happens. So I was obedient, took it in, and went through this long month process of getting both of them fixed, finding the car pieces, being patient. And I'll tell you what, is the more you're aware of what needs to be fixed in your car, especially when it's considered like red, like, hey, you need to kind of fix this, or even orange, or it's like, you need to fix this very soon, and driving that on the snow in the dead of night, it brings like a form of stress and anxiety I cannot explain. Because, like, please, dear God, hold my car together because I don't have a choice but to drive this in this way in the weather right now. So I was a little bit anxious driving my first vehicle around last month, not because it was wobbly or but because I knew what needed to be fixed and what could possibly go wrong, especially with the bad wheel bearing, which could cause your wheel to stop turning and or have other problems that you don't want to experience. So me and my husband thankfully do not play with car stuff, and we have enough of a sound mind to go, we need to squeeze this in here, here's how we're going to do this, and get it knocked out. So uh so yes, the car stuff has been quite an ordeal, let me tell you. Especially with those higher maintenance costs. Because there's financial planning that goes into that. So I'm very thankful. That is my Christmas present, getting those fixed to where we can keep it on the other issues and know that they will be tackled when it comes their time to do so and get provided for, and which is it's really cool. I can't even tell you. I'm very, very thankful. Otherwise than that, I mean, I've just been busy with work trying to readjust. The corporate world has a lot of hidden languages and a lot of hidden rules, and the more you become aware of these rules, the better off you'll be. Now, something that a small little caveat with that, because this is something I've been dealing with, but it is very useful to know, especially with some of the stuff I'm attached to. Trust me. At first, when you're if you guys work in a corporate building, an office or something, you'll be kind of aware of these hidden rules. It's gonna feel like a lot of the time you're being fake. And I really can't put my thumb or finger as to why things are the way they are when it comes to the corporate world or just kind of working in a corporate building. But people are super sensitive about just common everyday questions. There's a specific way to word things, and it's a general rule in life. Hey, don't be an asshole. There's a better way to word that with tact, more subtlety, and not so much in your face. But at the same time, this is kind of like on a different level, so to speak. It's very easy to stand and trip over a landmine. There's all kinds of things, but for me, and I might have talked about this in my last update video, I'm not entirely sure. So sorry if this is a repeat. This is the very first job that I went in to go interview for, because originally when I went to interview for, it was a different position altogether. And so I walked out with a completely different position. And during the interview, this is the first time something like this has ever happened to me business-wise. I've had people tell this to me on a personal level or something along those lines. But to happen on a professional and corporate level is very new to me, and it actually caught me off guard, made me a little bit nervous. So during this interview, I was getting asked a variety of questions by 3 different supervisors, positions of management. And the questions, some of the answers I already kind of knew because of my experiences, because I've been asked by tenants as a unarmed security guard, hey, how do you feel about this? What do you think of this? Blah, 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 that sort of thing. And One of the reasons, because it comes the question like, hey, why did you leave your previous job? How come you didn't stay there longer? That sort of thing. And the answer I gave was because with my last job, I had pretty much hit the ceiling. There was no room for growth. It had gotten stagnant. There was just a whole plethora of problems. And I didn't, instead of going to like the negative of the company, I just want to continue to grow and expand in the skills I have learned. And with my previous job, I felt like I can no longer do so. So I'm looking for something that'll help me expand and grow and things like that. So when I said this, one of the managers, a very high manager, just kind of looked at me and go, if you don't get the position that you were interviewing for now, are you willing to look at other alternatives? Yes. And so they told me like, hey, I have something for you. I have something that I think you will be way better at. And I wasn't really, I'm trying to remember exactly how the interview went. Wasn't given the full details of the job, but to have somebody get like really interested and go, come here, I want you for this. Are you willing to come this way? So that is the very first time I've had that happen in a job. So I'm just like, that's making me kind of nervous and slightly intimidated. I feel intimidated. Yes, I will wander over this way, and I hope to God this works out. And so far it has. It's been stressful, and I've made adjustments. I'm still making adjustments, and again, about those hidden rules, it is very wise to learn them, and when you pick up on them, make sure that you do not break them. And they may sound, what's the word I'm looking for? It's another word for fake. Superficial. There you go. May seem superficial or surface level, but I can tell you is it makes a difference. I don't know why the corporate world is so sensitive. It freaking is. And it's not just the corporate world. It is the court world as well. It's for anybody who's followed any type of case, you will see in like the court documents, the way that certain things are worded, the definitions, a very sensitive world as well when it comes to the language. Perception is key, and that's a double-edged sword. Perception can either be wrong or right. I had a situation to where I called something over the radio. I also work with walkies at my job. And one supervisor thought it sounded like to them I was telling somebody what to do, and I wasn't. And I went on to explain very patiently. And you just have to be super careful. And I'm learning how to do that because it's so fucking important. These skills I cannot express enough. And I know this is going to turn to a long video. This is a life update because I may not make one next week. So that's why I'm doing this all here. And I haven't been able to make one for like 3 to 4 weeks. So I'm sorry if this is a long ass video. But to go back to the other thing, it is super, super, super important, especially if you work in the corporate world, because you can take what you learn and you can apply it to other things. Something with this job that I have is there's certain things that I already know how to do that they don't have to train me on. There's another person that has the same position as me, and they're having, from what I've understood, at least my perception, is they've had to kind of point out certain things to this other individual who has the same position as me. And to me, it's just like they should already kind of have to know to do said thing. But again, I'm assuming because of my own experiences, and I can't do that. So the experiences I have, my skill set that I have doesn't come wholly from my job. It's come from online situations. It's come from my involvement with the Save James stuff. I'll give an example with that too, because I knew, and I talked about this because this is like over 4 years ago. All the videos and stuff is still up. I have my Twitter back, which has that entire thread and things like that. one of the things that I already knew how to do, and I don't know why I already knew how to do this, I just did. Maybe I watched a lot of streams from a lot of the prominent YouTubers back then around that time. I don't know. So with the Save James stuff, when it came to the dinner party after the first day of the hearing, I kind of already knew, hey, you want to catch natural moments. You don't want the camera to be in the boys' face. You don't even want them to know that you're filming. You want to be in the background completely invisible so you can get the best moments possible. So there's a video I was able to get where it's James playing with his father, Jeff. James was completely unaware. Everybody, for the most part in the room, was unaware I was filming. I think I had one or two people kind of look my way or kind of see I was taking my phone up, but they were like in the background. So I was able to get this natural moment of Jeff playing with his son, James. And this is why this is important. Again, this is a skill I already knew how to do because I got a feeling that Ann and Coons Filler was going to say that I was in the boys' face filming, and it was anything but. So the very next day, all this stuff was brought up in the next year, and they brought up the picture of me taking the boys. That was in their big manila envelope folder type thing, which they left in front of the jury, by the way. There's like if you've ever been in a jury box, the very first row has like that little small counter that the first row can kind of lean on like this. They left it right there in this corner with the photo. So I was watching some of the jury's eyes like kind of like focus on the stack of papers that had that photo blown up right there. However, that is the only thing they presented. They didn't present the video at all because had they presented it, it would have shown that they were lying. So this was a skill I already had, and a lot of people, and again, social media is more prominent these days. Like you have a lot of people with their phones out, and a lot of stuff that comes out, people are like, oh, well, that's a skit, that's fake, they knew that you were filming, blah, 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 blah. So when it comes to filming natural moments, I already kind of knew there needs to be hardly anybody knowing in the room that I'm filming. You need to be in the background. I don't even want anybody, the people I'm trying to film, looking my way, acknowledging my presence. So, and I was able to do that. And again, this is why the video was not presented, because they would have been shown that they were lying. And I then took a screenshot of the video, and it was posted, and you can watch that the entire video that neither Jeff nor James makes eye contact with the camera. So that is an example of a skill I have learned. And again, I can't pinpoint where I learned this skill from. I really don't. I just knew, hey, do it this way, do said thing, because this will come up in court, and they're going to try to blame you for A, B, and C. So that is, I believe, where the gift of discernment comes in, where it's like, hey, do this, do it this way. And people will either, like I said, it's called different things: gut feeling, intuition. Christian term is discernment. And so that's just an example of just how my discernment was back then. And I can't fully explain it, but it has, I believe, been sharpened. I actually got, so to kind of continue on, sorry, like I said, this is a rambling video because there's been a lot on my mind for the past few months, and I've gotten indication of something else this past week that I have started to prepare for. And then to top it off, I got a confirmation that my discernment was not off. And it was something completely unrelated to what had been on my mind and heart for the past week, which is still on my mind and heart because I know what's coming up. Anyway, so it was something completely unrelated. And it had to do with a Secret Santa thing I was doing, and I knew I was going to have a certain person shop for me particularly, and then when it came time for the gift exchange, that mine was not going to be there. This was something I kind of suspected or had a feeling about a 1 to 2 week prior, and sure enough, I wasn't mad or anything because I'm like, I was kind of expecting it because I already kind of knew it was going to happen that way. Um, so again, confirmation with something completely unrelated, but it's like, hey, your discernment is not off here. This is what you are getting is accurate, not down to the time to a T, but start to prepare for said thing. And I have been. So uh, that that in itself is going to be a whole other thing, and something I do because I know this video is going to be on a half an hour. Um, Something I do want to say because I know my channel's dead, my social media is pretty much dead, and there are times because, like I said, I have not been able to do a video for like almost a month. I haven't had the energy. Anytime I went to go do one, I just got overly fed up, just frustrated, felt like I was rambling, getting bored of hearing myself talk. Yes, that is a thing. I'll go back to some of my older videos and go, I'm boring. I'm sorry. But with here, I'm able to speak more clearly. I'm not getting frustrated. So that tells me, hey, I'm doing a video. Woohoo. But with that being said, I know because I've had people, I know I've been put on blacklists by other groups of people or whatever. No, I'm not talking about like big groups like mainstream media, nothing like that. But it was brought to my attention a few years ago. This is before the incident that happened with my ex co-host. I had two co-hosts. Another one that when they were talking with me, they said that they went to a friend of theirs and told them like, "Hey, I'm gonna start streaming with Chambers of My Heart." And apparently, their friend like freaked out and like, "You're streaming with who?" So I know I have been blacklisted, which I don't really care, but I do know because this is just the story of my life. I've been like this since grade school. Sticking around me makes a lot of people hate you, and I'm sorry. It just it's not easy, and I'm going to acknowledge that. And this is not a pity party, but I do know just because of the way that I operate, and I've bumped into this on more than one occasion, where hanging out with me or conversing with me or being around in my small circles, very, very small, will cause a lot of tension and problems for you and other people, or you will have problems with other people. So, for those of you who have stuck around, and I know I'm not very active in Discord and things like that, and I can be very controversial. And not because I'm doing it on purpose. I'm not one of these grifters or freaking edgelords. Like, again, my social media is freaking dead. It is dead. Um, I am lucky to get even 100 views, if not around 150, on, say, a controversial topic or a trending topic. My channel has been buried and shadow banned that much. And I acknowledge that, and I've been acknowledging that for the past few years, and it got even more shadow banned after the round of Save James stuff and a little tail end of the Vic Manana stuff. So it is what it is. And that's the thing about me, my chambers, is when they get shadow banned or hidden, they stay hidden for a while. I will go off of a lot of people's radar, which is perfectly fine. I did put out a post on my personal Facebook about my frustrations with putting a video out, and I had someone, and this was such a wonderful reminder, and it's very much true. It really, really is true to where God will put us into a quiet place. And I know I'm not quoting this fully. Let me actually screw this because I have my phone and I can actually look up. I can look up this quote because it's very much true. Oh, this is weird. Okay, so I tried twice to make a video. It started with an article that I kept getting frustrated with. I'm now trying to attempt to do a response video to something to which I'm getting frustrated with and just going the hell with it. Maybe this is God's way saying, hush right now. And somebody put something very, very prominent. Sometimes he quiets us so our minds can calm, and when the noise starts again, it's clear. And I can't express just how important that is to remember, because if your mind is constantly bogged down by noise, and it's just you don't have a time and a place and a space to recalibrate and just kind of start to tune a lot of stuff out. When more noise comes, you're not going to be able to differentiate what you need to be listening to, where it's coming from. And so looking back at what's been going on, and I really feel like my channel has been hidden, not just by YouTube, but I just kind of, God's been taking me in a quiet place, and I'm not going to preach at you, far be it for me to do so. But just kind of looking at stuff and being told, pretty much giving indicators, hey, get ready for said thing. You need to start working on this stuff now. And getting more focused at work and picking up more of those hidden roles I was talking about, because they're going to carry into other places. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but the importance of it and being obedient in that, and I can't tell you how important it is, because the more quiet your mind is, and there's going to be stuff that's going to come up, it's going to be frustrating, it's going to disturb sometimes even your most peaceful of places, and sometimes that stuff just bleeds everywhere. But when you do get to that quiet place, somewhat quiet, and you can make it even quieter, you'll start to hear stuff. And this is from God, and I'm not talking about hearing the voices in your head, but you'll start to hear stuff that you did not pick up on, or you could not have picked up on an earlier time. And it's kind of like what's been happening with me, where I have shifted my focus from certain things and focusing on my house, trying to get my finances and stuff in order, getting my cars repaired, trying to learn and absorb everything I can at work, even if it's considered minuscule, stupid, redundant. I'm trying to absorb everything that I can, because I know I'm in a place right now to where I'm getting more training. My job where I'm at right now, I know I'm not supposed to get planted anywhere in this company at all. I'm not trying to. That is not the goal. I knew that when I got hired, that I'm just like, this is not a place for me to get planted in. Now, granted, does that mean I hate the job? No, I love my bosses. As much as a whirlwind some of them can be, and I have one in particular that's very much a loaded pistol, but these are people who I very much can learn from, and I hope to be able to do so for a while longer, because there's a lot to learn. Stuff can go to hell very quickly, and there's just a lot of landmines, which takes discernment as to where and what to step on. Now, for me, in the past, I've been, okay, some of you just need to get your head out of your ass. Just stop. This is stupid. You're being way too sensitive. There's a rhyme and reason to everything. And as much as I hate these rules, because I fucking hate corporate rules, I hate them with a passion. Because I think a lot of them are stupid, and I think a lot of people get high off their own huff, and they just forget what common sense is, and they forget what basic process is, a lot of stuff. But at the same time, I know it's fucking important, and I have to learn it. So I am doing just that. I actually had a conversation with one of my supervisors where he goes, welcome to the world of being a supervisor. this is my life every day. And I'm just like, nope, I hate this. He goes, I know, but it is what it is. So, and which is really cool. So, and I thanked him for the conversation. Again, it's been adjusting with how to communicate with my supervisors, and then my supervisors have had to adjust how to communicate with me because I am not a normal person that they would communicate with every day. So, anyway, um, so there is that. Car stuff, adjusting constantly at work, and I can tell because they see that I am adjusting, that I am learning, that I am trying to change what I'm doing so I do not fuck up again. Their attitude is changing towards me, and I see that, and that is an awesome thing to see, and I don't ever want to take advantage of that. Because that just, especially with those high end, high stress jobs, when you see the managers go out of their way to change the way that they deal with you because they see what they're doing is not resulting in the way that they want it to be, it's really cool to see, and I'm thankful for it. And getting just prepared for certain things down the road, and then acknowledging that I'm not the easiest person to be around or stick next to just because the road I'm on is not an easy one. A lot of people don't like this road, very few walk it. There's actually a poem I liked when I was going through high school. It's called The Road Less Traveled by Robert Frost. And pretty much the poem talks about how there's one road where there's constant footprints, there's just, you can see the traffic, and then there's like a path that's not really touched. A lot of people just don't want anywhere near the path. And I am somebody who's always kind of diverted to the less traveled road, just because the normal path is too crowded and there's just stuff I don't see as rational. So yeah, I do acknowledge that I am not the easiest person to be around. Give me one sec. I do apologize. I usually don't do this to the video. Life stuff. Anyway, so Merry Christmas. Thank you to those who have a tendency stuck around. I know we don't interact very much. I still post stuff on my Discord here and there. Thank you for those you've seen who have been able to discern and see bits of the real me. And again, that's one of the things when it comes to the Save James stuff, because I asked Jeff Younger this. I really did. And this is when I started to cover the Save James stuff, and there's been a lot more bigger voices, a lot of other people that he could have reached out to, other YouTubers he could have poked and tapped at and had bigger voices, which in my opinion could have moved a lot more. And he's been on interviews, a lot more prominent people. Obviously, as I've stated, I'm a third party nobody. I'm nobody important. I just know how to do some stuff. But I did ask him, like, of all of the people covering this, why the hell did you reach out to me? My YouTube channel's small. I don't have a lot of move. I actually have less of sway, if any, at all. I don't have any now compared to what I did have a few years ago. So why the hell did you reach out to me to begin with? I'm nobody. And one of the things that was told to me was that I was genuine. And it goes back to the interview I had with my current job before getting hired on it, is being told, just listening to the way that you talk, I could tell that you were genuine, that you really did want to grow and change, and I could really use somebody like that. So and this has only happened like a few times where I've had certain people go, I can see you. I can see a part of you. And it was the same thing with the Deal 5 stuff. To where, because I asked Heather Martin, why are you reaching out to me now? This is like before I covered all this stuff and had spoken to her, and she goes, well, I was listening to that stream that you and Joy had, and something that caught my attention was that if you were presented with evidence, you would change your stance, or you would align your view with what was actually true, was proven to you. Because there was a question, and I'm not trying to rehash all stuff, this is just another example, is when me and I wasn't, it was me, Joy, Base Mama, and I want to say Nick Monroe. Man, it's been a while. Anyway, so there's a question asked because at that point everybody was fighting with everybody, and it was a freaking disaster. And one of the questions I got asked was, okay, if you're presented with evidence, would you change your stance? Base Mama said no. I said yes, because it's like, yeah, if what you're saying is true and you're able to back it up, yes. And I've always been like that. And so when speaking with Heather Martin, because it's like, why did you reach out to me now? It's just kind of weird. I don't have any sway with anything. I don't. And again, goes back to, I saw that you were genuine. You weren't just doing this for clout. You weren't just doing this for money. You were legit genuine. I've had 3 people, maybe 2 more, tell that to me personally. And that's not because how do I put this? It's not because it's hard to see, but rather it's not visible to everybody. And there has been certain people that I really feel that God has shown, hey, this is who this person is. I'm going to give you a little bit of a glimpse. So my work, Jeff Younger, Heather Martin, and possibly a few others who do not know me personally, or who did not grow up with me, let's put it that way. So to have, like, and it always blows my mind every single time it happens. Because for me, as I've stated, I don't see myself as a leader. I don't see myself as an example for anything. I had another individual where they go, I want to be like you. You stand your ground, you stick to your guns, you stand up for what you believe in. And I'm like, no, don't wish to be like me. Wish to be the best version of you. As cheesy as that sounds, but it's true. Don't wish to be like me, and that's because I know that I have said that I wish to be more like my dad, but also being like aware of like his road, and where it's just like, well, it's a double-edged sword. I don't want the same road he has had or his experiences, obviously. That sounds horrible, but I do want to take inspiration from the way he stands up. So when people say that, hey, I want to be like you, or you want to be like a person, kind of careful what you wish for. So I know what I mean when I say it, but I don't think others mean or know what they mean when they say it of somebody else. If that makes sense. Sorry, I'm rambling. Like I said, long ass video. But yeah, I just can't thank people enough who have stuck by me and have been able to see glimpses of the real me. And to tell you the truth, I haven't even seen the full glimpses of the real me. I just know that when enabled, I have an effect on certain people. People get very cautious about knocking heads with me. That's not said out of arrogance. That is when I am enabled to do something. And it's obvious when I am. Um, some people do get nervous about knocking heads with me because like this is not a good idea. This is not going to end the way that you think it is. And that is when I'm enabled. Um, and I just again I can't thank people enough. I'm not the easiest person to be around. I'm not. Um, I'm very controversial. So, and I don't try to do so on purpose. I don't try to be edgy. Um, Trying to stand up for the right thing is costly. It'll cost you relationships. Those who stand by you, they're going to have a loss of relationships. It could result in job loss opportunities. It can result in a loss of just a lot of stuff. And I'm going to be honest, is some of the stuff I have stood up for, partaken in, without overstaying my welcome or trying to, without trying to stick my nose in places where they don't need to be, have brought a lot of discomfort to my house. Have almost crashed my marriage just because of the emotional impact and ramifications and the mental exhaustion and the fatigue they have brought. But it's nothing I regret. So even with what's upcoming is what I'm getting prepared for, it is also going to be costly. And I know that. And it's going to suck. It always does. But this time it feels different. It feels a lot different. And part of that scares me. But I also know it's going to be worth it. I won't go really into it at this point of time, but I do know it's going to be important. I'm probably going to have to make certain decisions and remember that God is the one that provides. He helped me find the car pieces. Like, I cannot, like, with the car stuff, the pieces I was looking for, I could not find for 2 weeks. 2 effing weeks. And I'm starting, like, car grief is a thing. It really is. And I started to look at car dealers. I got a hint that it was not time to look for a new car because the one I was looking at, just a little bit of advice, just a little bit, because this is something I learned. If you have a car that's been listed for quite a while, avoid it like it's the Black Plague. Do not get it. Do not sniff near it. The one I was looking at had about over 240k miles, and it had been listed for over 18 months. And so I inquired about it because I was curious. Okay. But the second phone call I got, because the first phone call, I'm like, yeah, I'm still kind of looking around. Second phone call I got was from the same dealership. They're like, yeah, no, this car got taken off the listing because it failed to pass the inspection. Big freaking hint. Don't go car shopping right now. You're not supposed to. Okay. So, and then I found my car pieces. And I found one week. And I found the second piece a few days later after. No, I found the second piece the day that the first one arrived, and when I was on the phone with my mechanic. Because I sent them a link. They're like, yeah, these aren't really sold anymore. And it's like, hold that thought. Here's a link. Are these it? Yes. Cool. I will bring everything in. So that is God providing, and it's like, hey, be patient. This is a process. Here are the pieces. Get them. Wait to do the car until you have this piece. Here they are. So I know that I will be provided for. But again, it's going to suck. It is. I'm sorry, there's no way to sugarcoat it. I'm not hesitant. I'm not going to complain. But this is, I don't know if it's going to bring about a life change, but it just might. I don't know. I really don't know. I just know I'm not supposed to get planted with my current job, that I'm at my current job, um, because of the nature of my job, the hidden rules of my job, the overall must have professionalism of my job. And I have proven myself a few times, quite a few times. It's always my shift find weird shit or weird shit happens. So, anyway, this video is almost an hour, so it has been a life update. Merry Christmas. I know a lot of you are probably working, or your spouses are going to work. Just like I don't have a tree. I don't obviously have presents, but that's not what's important. My presence is getting the cars fixed. And I cannot, like, I literally, after I went to go pick up my first car, I cannot tell you the amount of stress that just melted off. It's like I had circulation back in my body. Because it was that, it had been an emotional roller coaster. I have my first car represents like a physical piece of home. So, yeah, just be mindful of the holiday because it's about giving, and giving isn't always in the physical aspect. It's also mental, emotional, spiritual, and even if it's just, I don't know, giving your spouse a place just to relax, or giving them more patience than you usually do, or I mean that's something that you need to work on like every day, and it's not easy. I'm a very high strung, very impatient, blunt person, so I've been learning some lessons about patience. But or taking care of something that has been bringing a lot of stress and you know you can take upon your shoulders. It just things like that. And I know Christmas, this could be a stereotypical argument at Christmas. A lot of people are very materialistic about it. It's not always about getting a brand new thing. Freaking my phone that I got, it's a very good, very high-end model, but it's refurbished. I am one of those people that if I can get it, I don't want to say for cheap or for less, but I used to do cell phones. I know how very expensive they get, and I have my limit as to how much I will spend on a damn phone. And what I got, because it was, I found a website thanks to a very nice person that's like, hey, go here for verified refurbished phones that have been refurbished by the manufacturer. And so far, I like it. I've not had any issues with it. And it's a newer model. A lot more storage. So, and I'm thoroughly enjoying that I have it. And I will try to hold on to cell phones as long as humanly possible. And unfortunately, I had to give up my last one because of storage problems. And anybody who is at max capacity with the storage of the phone, it also causes memory issues and loading up of app issues and that sort of thing. So it's not about having brand new stuff. And again, this goes back to the car thing because a lot of things are going back to the car thing I've just dealt with. My cars aren't brand new models. I don't give a shit. I really, really don't. I am one of those people. So this is, again, I cannot tell you the amount of stress my first vehicle has put on my house. I've had people to tell me to throw away my first vehicle. They're like, "You're going to spend how much? Throw the damn thing away. What the hell? You can spend that money on a new used car." And to that I say, no. And the reason why is like if I could keep it fixed for God knows how long, I'm going to do so. I will run that bitch until I can no longer fix it until it officially dies. Because I like the car that much. I'm not embarrassed of the car. Even my first car, which I miss it because it was uglier than hell because of the way it's been treated. Rusted out on top, frame was rusted, and because I had a tire blowout, which was not fun, by the way. You don't ever want to experience the front of your car jumping like a good few feet and then landing down. No, that is not a fun experience at all. But because of the tire blowout, it had like a fender that like freaking curled. I was still more than happy to drive that thing. And I miss that car because it taught me a lot of lessons. One of them is other people are embarrassed over that car. I am not. Sorry. I actually have a funny story, and yes, I'm rambling, but it's been a while since I've done a video, so bear with me. I had a 1993 Chevrolet Lumina, and I've posted pictures about it online, even had like a small fundraiser like years ago for it. I used to live right next to a house that was a duplex, and a bunch of teenagers moved into this house, and they would have parties, and these shitbags would park right in front of my house. It's like, okay, assholes, I have two cars. Two cars. You fucks are spreading all over the street. And yes, it's public parking. These were not designated, whatever the fuck that word is, designated parking. There we go. And so I had just about had it. So this person decides to park right where my Lumina goes. And I did the old lady thing. I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to go park my car in front of their house because I know these guys are not going to want their friends to see this, what they consider this piece of crap. It was a piece of crap car, but it's my piece of crap car, in front of their house. Sure enough, after 10 minutes of sticking my rusty old clunker car in front of their house, somebody comes out, takes their car and moves it from in front of my house and go parks it elsewhere. And I happily went out and put my car back where it went. I was laughing my freaking ass off. It's like, I'm not embarrassed about my car, but I know you fucks will be. So I miss that fucking car. That car was awesome. Had it been taken care of properly, I would still have that car. So anyway, life lessons. Perfect example. I don't need the newest frickin' thing to be happy. I really don't. It just needs to be something I can take care of, I can fix up. I could get a lot of mileage out of, whether it be phone, car. Don't care. I really don't care. As long as I'm not buying a piece of crap. So anyway, I'm going to end off the video here because it's like almost an hour now, and it's going to take a while to render. But this has been another life update. Just for those of you who have stuck around, thank you. I can't express enough because I have lost people along the way. I've had family members go, nope. I've had friends go, nope. I have had, I don't want to call you followers because that's weird. I've had people who, for some reason, want to stick around and watch me in the past just go, nope. But I've also had people, whether they're very few, go, I see you. I see a real part of you. I will watch more. So, which is really cool. And as I said, blows my mind every time it happens. So that being said, if I don't see you next week, have a happy new year. Merry Christmas. I know not everybody has a tree to enjoy, or it's not even about that. Those things are fun to look at, don't get me wrong. But it's the spirit of giving, and your gift isn't always physical. It could be mental, it could be emotional, it could just be taking the time to sit with your spouse or your children when it's something that you don't usually do and that you've been trying to do, and you make it a point to go, I'm doing this today. Everyone and everyone else can fuck off. So, anyway, happy holidays. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the new year. Um, as I said, the stuff that I am getting, discernment of feelings, get prepared for. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to get any easier because it's not. I'm not going to lie to you. That's not anything I do. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat shit. It is not going to get easier. But for those of you who see the real part of me, I know we'll stick around. That being said, see you guys next year.